Welcome to the Dad and Cole Football Patrol.
That's right. What's going on, guys? I'm Dad.
And I am Cole.
Cole, it's back. Can you feel it? Training camps.
Oh, yeah.
This is the absolute favorite time of the year for me. I love it because it's still summer, so we still have the great warm weather. But football is back, man. So I got a question for you, Cole. With training camp being back, hope springs eternal for all 32 teams across the league. What do you most love about football? I don't know if we've really ever discussed this in depth.
That you never know what's going to happen. But, for baseball, that you just know, it feels like it will be, out to out to out to out. Just the whole time, so.
So what do you, I love that answer, by the way. So talk about that a little bit. The suspense, you're not really sure what's going to unfold in a football game. What does that mean to you, like the drama surrounding that?
So it means, that the, person, has their hands on the ball, but it might not, but it might still be an incompletion because he dropped it, and...
Yeah, there's so much suspense surrounding everything.
You could maybe even do a butt interception or something.
Butt fumble.
Yeah, like Marshawn Lattimore last season.
Oh, that's right. The butt interception, right? I thought you were going with the infamous play with Mark Sanchez where he did the butt fumble, but that's right. I forgot we also had a butt interception. See, you don't get butt interceptions in baseball, do you? So besides not knowing what's going to unfold in the game and the drama, what else do you love about our game of football?
That for when you catch a pass, you could punch the guy, really.
Punch the guy? What game are you watching?
Rugby or something? I mean by punch the guy, do a little...
So I think you're talking about the physicality of the game.
Yeah.
And I know with everything going on in the NFL around injuries and everything, I have to admit, I still love the physicality of the game. I don't want to see anyone ever get hurt. But the fact of the matter is...
I wish that wasn't even a thing.
Right. We would love to eliminate injuries entirely and keep everyone in the game safe. But we love the hard hits. We love the contact. We love the physical nature of the game. So I'm with you. I agree with you.
Like last year when Malcolm Jenkins hit Randy Cooks in the Super Bowl.
Look, I didn't want to see Cooks get knocked out, but man, did that...
I like Cooks.
Yeah, we like Brandon Cooks, but man, did that make a statement? I mean, to me, that really set the tone of the game.
He was looking over there, and then, he boom.
He bombed him, right? Yeah, and I love the physicality of the game still, and I think a lot of the guys who play in the NFL are still attracted to that.
I can see his spit coming out of his mouth when he got hit.
All right, cool. So we talked about the suspense and the drama of the NFL. You talked about the physical nature of the game and the hard hits. Can I share with you a little bit what I love? So first of all, I love that there are only 16 regular season games. That makes every game so meaningful.
In baseball, there's 162
Yes,
games.
in basketball, 82. And I love all professional sports, but to me, the meaning of the regular season gets diluted in those other sports where football, every single game is so crucial, so it's so drama-filled and intense. Every weekend is so meaningful, and I love that about the NFL. But to me, what I love most about football doesn't even have to do with on the field. I love how it brings together families and communities. And for me, getting to sit here with you right now, getting to do this podcast, I don't know if there's any other topic that we would want to get together and talk about so passionately about like we do NFL football. And the other thing of it is on game day, when you and I
love game day.
Yeah, you and I get to... Well, what do you love about game day? Tell me.
That, there's usually two teams that, on the first, game of the whole season, there's two teams. The Super Bowl champion plays someone that they already played in the playoffs.
Yes, you're talking about the big Thursday night kickoff, right? They usually pair...
It's going to be Eagles-Falcons for the first one.
Yeah, our beloved Eagles are playing. What else do you love about game day? Yeah, Pennsylvania. What else about game day gets you fired up?
That they're night games and day games, and I like the red zone where like you get to see every single game in like one day.
Yeah, so guys, when Cole and I watch football, if it's an Eagles game, it is strictly left on the Eagles channel, whatever game, whether it be Foxy, whatever. It's stuck on Fox. We don't turn the channel during commercials or anything like that. We are diehard and locked in on the Eagles. But when it's not an Eagles game, Red Zone all day, Cole and I. Now, I know for a lot of football purists and diehards out there, they're not really into Red Zone, but I think it's the greatest thing ever. We're big fantasy football guys as well. So the Red Zone is where all the action's at, and it's just hypercharged all day long football action.
I can watch games over and over and over again.
You've been watching the Red Zone replays this summer, haven't you? So Cole, the other big part of bringing communities and families together around football is the relationship that I formed with my dad surrounding the Philadelphia Eagles, and I feel like you and I are forming a similar bond as well.
I'm not that big of an Eagles fan anyways.
What'd you just say, boy? So growing up as a kid in the 80s.
I went to training camp last year.
Yeah, you did. We took you down to one of the open practices
and you tried after special teams you tried to make me leave, but I wanted to stay for the whole time.
You weren't having it. That's right. When I saw that special teams was coming on as a drill, I'm like, all right, I think we've seen enough of training camp. But you're like, nope, Dad, we're staying for the whole thing, and we did, didn't we?
Yeah.
So Cole,
I'm gonna force you to do that this season again.
So Cole, when I was a little kid, training camp was at Westchester University. A lot of professional teams did their camps at college campuses. They're starting to sort of move away from that, which I think is a shame for kids in your generation because it was such a special thing. There was no like barriers between the players and the fans. I could just walk up to players after the practice. I mean, I met Randall Cunningham, I met Reggie White, Jerome Brown.
Met a Super Bowl champion.
Yeah, you sure did. And we're going to be talking about that in a little bit later as well. But I got to meet so many guys and get autographs, and it was just awesome for me. But the bond I formed with my dad, with him taking me to Westchester, and then we had season tickets, thankfully, back then for the Eagles as well, was just so special.
I never went to an Eagles game in my life.
Well, we're going to change that for you one of these days, buddy, I promise.
Change it right now.
Yeah, we are. You got to grow up a little bit because those games are still a little bit wild down there. But once you get the right age, I'll be taking you down for sure. So, Cole, let me ask you this. Just when you think of the whole NFL right now and training camp starting back, what's like one of the biggest stories or one of the biggest players you're most excited about watching this summer heading into the regular season?
Wait, biggest player?
Yeah, like who's a big player name, like someone you're, like I know you're...
Saquon Barkley.
I thought you were going to probably say that. So what excites you about Saquon and heading into the season?
I think he could win the Rookie of the Year award and MVP.
Whoa, that's a bold statement. But look, I mean, if the Giants get themselves back into the playoffs after the rough stretch...
Even made the Super Bowl.
Hey, you watch it, pal. Don't be going too crazy over there. No, but listen, I'm with you. I'm with you. I think the expectations, this is what I'm interested about Saquon Barkley. The expectations are so high for this kid. I mean, they're talking about him being like a once-in-a-generational...
He's not a kid. He's like a pro.
Well, to me, he's a kid. I'm old enough to be his dad. But anyway, that's a whole other story. But I am curious to see if he's able to match the lofty expectations that are being set, so I think that's a good one. Now, what else are you excited about heading into the NFL season? Any other players or just teams in general you're looking forward to?
Team Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, I think that's a really good, intriguing one. Now, when you say Minnesota...
I like Adam Thielen.
Okay.
Like Stephon Diggs, who I always call Brandon Cooks.
Now, what do you think about Kirk Cousins? To me, he's the most intriguing piece of their offseason. Do you think he's going to be worth that big contract that they gave to him?
In free agency, he would be the best quarterback because he has all these like wide receivers around him and like.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they almost got to the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah, I agree. So I think Cousins was the biggest quarterback free agent name.
Guys.
Yeah, that's right.
Beating them.
So I agree. I think Cousins was the biggest free agent name quarterback. I think the Vikings were the most playoff-ready team for a free agent to go to. So I'll be interested to see if he can meet the expectations that they're placing on him in Minnesota as well.
And they just got Dalvin Cook back.
Yeah, and the health of good job, Cole. The health of Dalvin Cook is another really intriguing storyline to look forward to with the Vikings. What else are you excited for heading into this training camp season?
The Jacksonville Jaguars.
Very interesting. Now, what about them is compelling you to keep an eye on them in training camp this year?
I think that, well, Blake Bortles, he might have like a little crack in his back or something like that.
Oh, so is that a term you're talking about for like people are a little, they're unsure about him, like some cracks in the foundation? Well, I think he's okay health-wise, but I think bringing up Bortles with the Jaguars is the right thing to mention. I thought he showed well in the playoffs last year, but I still get the feeling that like they're not in love with him. Do you think the organization is really still bought into Bortles?
Traded for Joe Flacco.
Oh, geez. I don't know if that trade would work out, but
What? They have Lamar Jackson.
Well, and thank you for bringing him up. So speaking of Joe Flacco, I know you
My
and I...
next team would be the Ravens too, actually.
Yeah, and I think you and I have both been big on Lamar Jackson. So what are you interested in watching that battle develop? Do you think there's a chance?
You're out of here, Flacco. You're in here, Lamar.
So tell me about that. Why do you think that could happen?
I think Lamar Jackson is going to be a starter because, like, he has a better running game in his own self. He could be, like, a running back in there. And they were talking about putting him at a wide receiver.
Cole, I think you're nailing it. I think he's such a dynamic, explosive guy. He's got the arm, but he can run too. And I think coaches in the NFL anymore, they want the complete package. And while Flacco at one time took that team to the Super Bowl, the offense has regressed.
Won it.
Right, he did win, but the offense has regressed. He's kind of like a statue back there with no mobility. And I think they're looking for a change of pace. I think Jackson could be starting week 1.
Yeah.
So, hey guys, Cole and I want to hear from you out there. What do you most love about the National Football League and about football? We shared some of our thoughts, but we want to hear from you. Please leave a comment. And then, guys, also, please leave a comment with the storyline you're most intrigued about with this NFL summer camp, training camp season that now is finally upon us. Woohoo! Please leave a comment. We want to hear from you. And then what else?
It's not like the just plain season.
Yeah, that's right. And then what else would we love for people to do out there?
Subscribe.
Yeah, guys, we'd be honored if
and
you
we're on Twitter.
Oh, yes, and we're on Twitter. Good call, Cole. So we'll link our Twitter account, and we'd also be honored if you could hit the subscribe button so we can what? Count on you as active members of our NFL football family. Well, I think that's it, right, man? So, guys, happy training camp season. Enjoy it. Thanks for watching the video. Take care.
See ya.
See you soon.